Howdy all, this is Shane. I get asked to show people how I make these demos and what kind of work actually goes into it. Basically I just start with a concept like, have I tested an amp with a pedal in before, or if I have done it before, can I actually now make it better than back in the early days? Because I used to just use this, which was my Canon FS100 camera. This is the standard definition one, so it wasn't HD. The audio on this is actually really nice, but the video quality is just, it's been surpassed with the camera I'm shooting with now, which is a Sony CX110 HD camera, and I use two of these. One is usually focused on myself, like now, and if I was to do a cut scene where there is, you know, the pedals on the floor, then I would use another camera facing down. And I'd usually have to position these cameras in a way where I try not to get, you know, another camera looking at a tripod that's holding another camera. I try to get them in a way where they're out of view. Lighting has always been an issue. I'd usually just used small lamps, which, you know, like back here you can see a little lamp. I have two of those which I use up until now. Today I finally got my new lamps, and it's on half wattage right now, and it's filling the room with light like I've never seen it in here before. So it's really, really cool. I don't usually mic up the amps. I use the digital mics, which I'm talking into right now, which are built onto these cameras. But these last few videos, I've been micing up the cabinet with a Rode M3. And I don't know if you can see that up there or not, but I'm using a Rode NT2A room mic, and I split the audio. So what I'm doing, I'm keeping the signal dead dry. I'm not adding any effects to it at all, and I'm then like panning the close mic just slightly to the left, and then panning the room mic slightly to the right, and it gives it some spread. I also out of phase the second microphone on my Sony Vegas software, which I'm going to show you now. I don't have a lot of room to record, so I try to utilize like what I have in the space I've got. I'm just lucky at the moment I can kind of crank the amps up during the day and no one complains, so I've been pretty lucky about that. But the day where that freedom will no doubt go soon, so I'm going to make the most of it while I can. Alright, so let's take a look at how this works. It's a bit of a mess right now, but I have my pedals on the floor, and I was using that cable for the amp earlier, but now it's just going back into a speaker. But yeah, so that's my pedals right there, and I usually try to position that a little closer to the amp than where they are right now. I've just done it to save some space, and that's the AC30, and the mic I was using over here is the M3. That's usually obviously in front of the amp, and these are the lights that I just got, and they're the ones that are blinding me right now. As you can see, I'm only using the two on the outside, so they're pretty amazing, and I can highly recommend those things. Now, I'm actually at the editing stage right now of a video, and this is a Stratocaster and Vox AC30 demo with some overdrive pedals, and this was a video that I had requested on one of my videos, so I thought, why not? And these are the first videos I've used the new lighting on, and they look way, way better. So let's just show you what I've got here. The great thing about doing it this way is I stuff up what I'm going to say so many times usually. It's great to be able to chop and change that out. I'm getting better at it, but there's times where I'm not really thinking about what it is I'm trying to say, and it just comes out a mess. So I can redo certain sections, and I've learnt just to continue, you know, take a step back, say it again, take another step back if I need to, and just try it until I get it right. It's just one of those things. So I guess you get more comfortable as you go with it. But yeah, you still need to think about what it is you're trying to say, and not to talk too long either, which is what I'm doing right now. But that's the whole point of this how-to video. So, alright. I then have to sync up the audio and video tracks together. That can pose some sort of problems occasionally. I'll zoom in. I know this is a bit ghetto doing it like this, but what I do, I usually like clap 3 or 4 times really loudly, and as you can see, here is where the claps are. You can't see it on these tracks, but I've like muted them. But yeah, basically that helps me sync the audio together. Make sure that it's not like an old samurai movie where, you know, your mouth's saying one thing but there's nothing coming out, sort of thing. So, and that's pretty much the main thing, as long as I can sync it and make sure that it's all good. And the great thing is the camera audio is still here too. So what I'll do normally is use the camera audio just for my voice, and I'll show you what I mean. So here we go. Howdy all, it's Shane. We're going to take a look at the Vox AC30 and how it sounds with a Strat with some overdrive pedal. Now the other thing is, you notice there's a big pause there. I usually like to take all of that stuff out. So I know a lot of these shortcut keys now, and it's been really cool just to be able to sort of, actually I'll do it this way. It's been great just to be able to cut out the silence and make it just flow a little better, because a lot of people just and ah a lot, and it's just human nature, you can't help that. But I'd like to think that listening to it without it is a lot better. So here we go. Strat with some overdrive pedals. Now I've got my 3 favourite overdrives on the floor right now. The Plimsoll by Full Tone, and there's another fairly large space there while I was contemplating which order to say things in. So, you know, I get rid of all of this stuff. The Overdrive OD3 by Boss, and the Booster Grande, which is basically a clean boost / volume boost pedal. I'm actually miking the amp up with a Rode M3, and I also have a Rode NT2A mic right at the back of the room, which really isn't that far, it's maybe 12 feet back. So here we go. This is alright, so there's another big pause there that I don't really like. You know, it's alright to have a few in there, so it doesn't seem rushed when you're listening to it. Here we go. This is my amp tone straight from... That's me burping because I just had some Pepsi. And so we'll get rid of that one as well. Amp tone straight from the guitar. And this is my guitar tone. See, that's a great example of the kind of stuff I would leave out. Have a listen to this. Amp tone straight from the guitar. And this is my guitar. So basically what I said made no sense. I got a little bit sort of tongue-tied and twisted, so let's just get rid of all of that. And that should make all of this just flow that little bit better. Here we go. This is my... Oh, deleted the wrong bit. Undo is awesome. Amp tone straight from the guitar. And this is my guitar tone, just straight into the amp. Alright. And this is my guitar tone. Here we go. This is So then I'll edit all the bits out that either don't make sense or they're not coherent, or this will make the whole thing just flow a lot better. So here we go. So here we go. And this is my guitar tone, just straight into the amp. Now for some reason it didn't cut that bottom track, or I didn't remove that. Alright, so it can get a little fiddly doing this. Editing is one of those things where it takes time to get really good at it and quick at it. Doing it this way will take me about 30 to 40 minutes a video. Doing it the old way, where I didn't mic up anything and there was no extra microphones, I could get these done in maybe half that amount of time. If I was on fire playing, or if I was actually having a good day playing. That's the thing, it really depends on the day. Like some days I just can't play, so I decide not to record. Or if I'm in a rush, I tend to play just horrible. Like today I'm not in a rush and my fingers, it's cold, but my fingers were moving okay, so I'm going to keep these takes. I learnt pretty early on, don't put crap on YouTube because people will hammer you for it, and I'm guilty of that. I've put some substandard videos up in the past, but I'm in the process of redoing a lot of those, so they're not so crap. So here we go. Okay, now this guitar track here, which is part of the camera track, I'll mute so we don't hear that, and this whole bottom track I can just mute out because I'm using there's two sets of camera audio, but both of those have been muted except for where I talk. And this is my guitar tone, just straight into the amp. And this is my sound straight into the amp. So as you could tell right there, what happened was I did one take on guitar and I didn't even know what I was going to play, and that's usually not a good sign. What I like to do now is to have an idea or a concept of what I want to play before I even hit record. And on this particular time, it took me a couple of chords to work out what I wanted to play. So I went with an original track that I wrote called Don't Break My Heart, which it's just a couple of the first chords. Alright, so at that point in the video, right there, is where the I have to then shrink or change the aspect of stop doing that. Go away. Alright, I then have to change the second clip here, and I want to make it so it sits on top of the other track. So to do that, I just simply do this. I usually use two monitors, and actually I've got a preset which should be pretty much right. I might make that just a little bit smaller again so you can see the lights come up. Now what will happen now is after this clip is played, you'll see it sort of shrink to the right. Now, this whole process right here is pretty time consuming. I try to, if I can, listen to the whole thing as I'm going, rather than... I got sloppy a few times and I spent like an hour mixing one video once, and I left a couple of mistakes in there, as in not playing mistakes, just things I should have edited out, really. Alright, so as you could hear, or not hear, my voice, so I'll unmute this particular track here, and then you'll hear my voice come back in via the camera audio. So this is really handy. Alright, that's the out of phase position, so I'm playing neck and middle. I'm going to go to the neck. I do get a bit of buzz with these Fat 50 pickups, so here we go. What I did then was just reduce the volume there in that track in the middle, because it was like blisteringly loud when it kicked back in from the guitar part. Alright, that's the out of phase position, so I'm playing neck and middle. And right there is where these tracks are pretty much finished. So I can mute them or I can just delete them. I've actually got the program set up so if I delete a section of audio, everything that's after it sort of slides back. It's just a convenience for editing sake. And now I need to unmute this bottom track here, and that will be my voice again.
Very, very cool. And that is my Strat with the box AC30 mic'd up, and it sounds great. So thanks to Shania who sent me this awesome.
Alright, so that's pretty much the process, and then I've also got the audio, which I usually try to keep consistent now in my videos. And one of my buddies, Ken, mentioned that, and he's expecting the certain things in my videos, which is a good sign of competent. What's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like a branding, but less formal, I guess. Like, you know, the wah pedal intro is going to start, and then you know there's going to be this groove.
Hey it's Shane, we're going to take a look at the Vox AC30 and how it sounds with the Strat with some overdrive pedals. Now, I've got my three favourite overdrives on the floor right now: the Plimsoll by Full Tone, the Overdrive OD3 by Boss, and the Booster Grande, which is basically a clean boost / volume boost pedal. I'm actually miking the amp up with a Rode M3, and I also have a Rode NT2.
Now the thing with doing music tracks behind talking is you don't want to make the track too loud, as in the music track, because it'll kind of distract everybody.
Hey it's Shane, we're going to take a look at the Vox AC30 and how it sounds with the Strat with some overdrive pedals. Now, I've got my three favourite overdrives on the floor right now: the Plimsoll by Full Tone, the Overdrive OD3 by Boss, and the Booster Grande, which is basically a clean boost / volume boost pedal. I'm actually miking the amp up with a Rode M3, and I also have a Rode NT2A. Mic right at the back of the room, which really isn't that far, it's maybe 12 feet back. So here we go. This is my guitar tone, just straight into the amp.
Now, I don't know if you can hear that on the camera, but there's a fair bit of hiss going on. So what I like to do, I like to use this plugin I've got called Noise Stereo, X Noise Stereo. What this will do is it'll be able to get rid of that hiss, and it'll make the music sound clearer or less like digital. I guess that's what I'm going for. Oops, I didn't hit add. So yeah, it really does work quite well. Now, if I solo this track, you're going to notice it pretty quickly.
Pedal. I'm actually miking the amp up with a Rode M3, and I also have a Rode NT2A. Mic right at the back of the room, which really isn't that far, it's maybe 12 feet back. So howdy all, it's Shane. We're going to take a look at the Vox AC30 and how it sounds with the Strat with some overdrive pedals. Now, I've got my three favourite overdrives on the floor right now: the Plimsoll.
So that just got rid of so much hiss. There's like 20% hiss in the signal, because what happens is these video cameras boost anything that's quiet to a point and reduce anything that's loud to a point. So if like I'm talking now, there'll be a lot of background noise. So sometimes if it's really prominent like it is now, I like to just run that plugin, the X Noise, and it'll get rid of all of that. So have a listen again.
Howdy all, it's Shane. We're going to take a look at the Vox AC30 and how it sounds with the Strat with some overdrive pedal.
It does sound a little bit low fidelity, but the great thing about it is when everything is going on, like when you've got the music playing, it sounds way better.
Hey Neil, it's Shane. We're going to take a look at the Vox AC30 and how it sounds with the Strat with some overdrive pedals. Now, I've got my three favourite overdrives on the floor right now: the Plimsoll by Full Tone, the Overdrive OD3 by Boss, and the Booster Grande, which is basically a clean boost / volume boost pedal. I'm actually miking the up with a Rode M3, and I also have a Rode NT2A mic right.
And just as you thought, you know, that's pretty much finished, there's always a little bit more. So what I did today, I took some photos of not only the amp, but some of the mics. So when I'm talking about the mics, it will make some sense to people watching who, you know, they can find out what it is. So
the Overdrive OD3 by Boss, and the Booster Grande, which is basically a clean boost / volume boost pedal. I'm actually miking the amp up with a Rode M3.
I hate how it does that. Alright, that's my own fault. I misclicked.
Up with a Rode M3, and I also have a Rode.
I like to leave a bit of space for these images because it just breaks up the video. It gives it a bit of a different quality.
Amp up with a Rode M3, and I also have a Rode NT2A mic right at the back of the room, which really isn't that far. It's maybe 12. A Rode NT2A mic right at the back of the room, which really isn't that far. It's maybe 12 feet back. So here we go. This is my guitar tone, just straight into the amp. This is my sound straight into the amp.
Oh.
This is my guitar tone, just straight into the amp.
Alright, so I basically I left it editing that shouldn't be there, and this is the time to notice these things. Otherwise what will happen is you'll upload it and everyone will make fun of you because you've missed it. So it's worth doing this right. And then I'll have to just adjust these a little bit.
Boost pedal. I'm actually up with a Rode M3, and I also have a Rode NT2A mic right.
It's almost there.
Miking the amp up with a Rode M3, and I also have a Rode NT2A mic right at the back of the room, which really isn't that far. It's maybe 12 feet back. So here we go. This is my guitar tone, just straight into the amp.
And to get that photo, what I did was use the studio lighting, which I now have acquired, and one of these Nikon I can't even remember the model. They're really cool. L110s. I got that a couple of years ago, and it's been awesome. Like, it takes great shots with and without flash, and that's the result right there. So what I then do is edit these photos to pan across. That goes into some deeper editing, which I'm not going to get into right now, but might just change the fades a little bit. And, you know, some people really just want to keep hearing me play the blues stuff, and that's cool. But, you know, I like to play my own songs. There's been this huge uproar about, you know, on YouTube about people losing their channels and so forth due to copyright, and I just don't want to get hit by that. I can prove that I own all my own content and songs, and that's a really important thing. I mean, the blues stuff I don't own. I just play that because it's improvised and no one really owns it. So, yeah, it's cool. It's cool if you can play your own music at least, or mix up your videos. I've learnt to play the same thing a few times in a row. People really like the fact that you know, if you can play the same thing 2 or 3 times with 2 or 3 different pedals, they're going to really get an understanding of how that sounds. So I keep that in mind rather than just playing random stuff every time I change pedals, because if you play, say, a lick on the low notes and then a lick on the high notes, you're not going to get a good understanding of how the other pedal might sound on the opposite notes. So yeah, I try to keep that in mind as well. And this is my little intro clip right here, and we're gonna see how it goes.
Howdy all, this is Shane with...
Alright, I buggered something up. Alright, the music needed to go across a little more. Weird edit right there. Fade that out.
Howdy all, this is Shane. We're going to take a look at the Vox AC30 and how it sounds with the Strat with some overdrive pedals. Now, I've got my 3 favourite overdrives.
Now what I used to do a lot of as well is change the saturation on these clips, because my lighting was really poor, and I found that the saturation sort of helped. But right now, like, I don't even think I need it. It looks fine with it off, but there's something about boosting midtones that makes YouTube videos look a little bit more vibrant. It might only be a small detail, but it's one of those things. And you can also adjust the brightness and contrast settings as well if need be, but I've learnt to kind of just leave that stuff now, and yeah, I let it go normally. So
Give it a thumbs up and comment. Yep.
So this is the end part of the video now. What I usually do is just copy that audio track straight across all the way, and then I listen back and see if whatever I'm talking about makes any sense whatsoever, or if there's bits that need to be cut. So here we go.
Very cool. And that is my Strat with the Vox AC30 mic'd up, and it sounds great. So thanks to Shania, who sent me this awesome t-shirt. I really appreciate that, so thank you. And I hope you like the new lighting. This is the first attempt with the new bright lights. So yeah, if you can see things a little clearer now, that's maybe... Yeah, if you can see things a little...
Alright, so now we go back to this, delete.
you can see lights, so if you can see things a little with the new bright lights, so if you
alright, that's me thinking about what the hell I'm going to say next.
with the new bright light, if you can see things a little clearer now, that's maybe why. I think I'm getting some serious reflection here. This is the first attempt with the new... And I hope you like the new lighting.
I don't think I need to really go into detail about that. That's just wasting time. People don't want to know.
Lighting, if you can see things a little clearer now, that's maybe why. I think I'm getting some serious reflection here off the metallic... There it is. Yeah, there's a lot of reflection off that pedal, so I apologise, but that's where I had that set. That's where I had this one set. And the Booster Grande with all of its awesome controls, that's where I had that set. So, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this, please let me know, and give it a thumbs up and comment if you have any questions. Please let me know. Cheers all. Thanks. Please let me know. Cheers all. Thanks.
Alright, that was pretty cool. I usually like to fade the ends out as well, make everything line up. And I know I haven't been talking much the last few minutes, I've just been listening, making sure that this is okay. And what I'd probably like to do here...
Yeah, metallic, that's maybe why. I think I'm getting some serious reflection here off the...
So what I might do is like lock... Might just mute that. Shoot.
I think I'm getting some serious reflection here off the metallic... There it is. Yeah, there's a lot of reflection off that pedal, so I apologise, but that's where I had that set. That's where I had this one set. And the Booster Grande with all of its awesome controls, that's where I had that set. So, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this, please let me know and give it a thumbs up. Actually, I'm going to boost the midtones a little bit more, or to some extent here. It's a saturation adjust control, as I mentioned before, and if you can see this orange, I don't know if it's going to really work, but it just makes everything look better. That's it. Colours are good. The Booster Grande with all of its awesome controls. Very, very cool, and that is very, very loud, but I think that's pretty much done. Region select the video here and then actually save it first, because you know what, this new Vegas program's maybe not as stable as I would have liked, and I like to call this Vox AC30 Stratocaster, render it to the desktop. And this is the benefit of Sony Vegas 11. You know, I used 9 for years, and 9 was and still is an awesome program, but I'm now rendering like 5 or 6 channels of audio with plugins, videos with plugins, and what it's doing now is putting that all together into one video, and it's going to take about 9 minutes. This on Sony Vegas 9 or on some Mac programs would take about 40 minutes, and the reason is this is GPU accelerated, which means it's using the graphics card to really work the rendering process, and it is so much faster than it used to be. This was easily a 30 to 40 minute rendering job, and you know, with lots and lots of tracks, so it's very, very fast. While it's still slow, it's way quicker than it used to be, and I'm using a Intel i7 8 gig of RAM, and you can see that I'm using 4.5 gig of RAM here, and my CPUs are not maxed out, but it's getting there, and I like to let it do its thing, and yeah, it won't take long at all, which is great. And Sony Vegas can actually upload directly to YouTube, but I choose not to use that feature. I like to watch things back before they go live, just to make sure that whatever I've done is good enough to go live. Otherwise I have to get back in here and cut it again. So yeah, it says it's going to take 11 minutes. When you add images or overlays like that, it will slow the rendering process down, and then once you get past that, it should speed up again, which is pretty cool. So that's basically my process. So I listen back to the audio tracks usually with my basic computer speakers over here, which are like, I don't even know what they're called, Logitechs, I think. But yeah, when I do proper audio recording, I usually use the Rockets, so a lot of the time now I'm going to be using those. So that's pretty much my setup. I've got my second workspace is where my photos and audio and video files and things go, and then I can also control the channels on my Motu 8 Pre here as well, but I'm finished with that now, so I don't need it. But yeah, that is pretty much the process, and as you found out, it took quite some time to get it to that point. This was a little bit more tricky, this video. It had things where I wanted to show images in like prominent like that, as you can see it now, the little Vox thing right here. But yeah, there's times in this one that where I wanted to cut back and forth. Usually I just, you know, leave 2 cameras in the same overlay position the whole entire time, but this time I've chosen not to do that, just to see if anyone responds to it, I guess. But it's always a learning curve, and while my format of my videos are pretty much set now, there's always room for improvement. The lighting was the big thing. Like, now having this light is just going to be amazing, and the audio quality was just based on my motivation and time constraints in the past, but I have a bit more time, so I'm just going to leave these mics plugged in. Whenever I need to record, I can just use them, and that is the long process that is involved in making one
little video like that. So you can kind of see why I put ads on these videos. I didn't really want to do that, but it's really helped. It's helped me buy things like the lighting and, you know, like cables and so forth. Hard drive space, which goes, you know, really quickly. I got like 5 hard drives in this computer. 2 are backup ones, but the main ones that I use are pretty much almost full already, so I need to start developing more backup storage and so forth. And it's also allowed me to buy some plugins and software as well, which has been really awesome. So thanks everyone for the support with that. I know watching ads isn't always great, but it really does help to get things moving. So thanks all, and keep your requests coming, because I actually really enjoy doing this. It's not like something that I have to really be forced to do. I actually really like it. I wake up and think, oh, I wonder what I can videotape today. I've been making videos since I was a kid. I had an old VHS style camcorder back in the old days, and then I downsized to one of those Sony. The tapes were about the size of this. So, you know, I've been making home videos and cheesy horror movies and so forth since I can remember, but yeah, this music stuff is definitely a lot of fun because I love gear. I love messing around with gear and having a play and promoting things indirectly if I like it. Like, you know, those pedals that you're seeing right now, the Plimsoll and the Overdrive OD3 and the Boosty Grande, those things kick ass. Like, if they weren't good, there's no way I'd even have them on my pedal board. And I'm not trying to sell anything on my channel either. So I like the fact that, or I try to enjoy the fact that I'm not telling everybody to go out and buy one of these things. If they don't like the sound of it on my video, like, they don't have to go buy it. I've had maybe 200-300 people tell me they bought a PV Bandit because of what they saw of my videos. And that's, you know, that's pretty cool. I gotta say, I've lost count of the amount of emails. It has to be at least between 100 and 200. And that's over like the last 6 years. So maybe Peavy should sponsor my channel or something. But yeah, who knows? There's a lot that can be said for presenting things to people in a way where you're not trying to push it on them. And I think my channel does that. I really enjoy chatting to everybody about my videos and gear, and you know, there's a lot of people that know a lot of good stuff, and I got a lot of really regular people that comment and subscribe. So for everybody that does that, I'm going to be shipping you one of my albums, because yeah, it's good to have some feedback and some creative ideas towards the channel like this video. So maybe once a week I'll forward out a CD. That sounds like a good idea to someone who suggests something or comments on my page. So yeah, thanks all. I'll speak to you all soon. See ya.